Alright, it's Paddy for the Hangar, and today's episode I'm going to start off a little bit differently. I had a bit of an issue when I was organising things and tidying things up a little bit, and that issue was that my plexi had became broken, so the potentiometer snapped. I'd tried gluing it back on. There's not a lot of material there to work with, so it didn't really stick. It can still be used, but I don't like broken things, so I'm going to repair it. I'm going to start off by obviously remove the little knob. I'm going to put it to the side. Then I'm going to need some kind of socket. Make sure that this is unplugged before you open it up. When you're working on amps, they're very high voltage, so that's very dangerous. Unplug it and leave it to let the electricity dissipate. The rule in the Navy usually is have a cup of tea, and then that should be enough time. So I just wanted to give a closer look into what I'm seeing here. You can see the signs that I've tried to glue it on. The other part of it is actually here. So as you can see, I've tried to glue that on, but there's not a lot of surface there to work with. So it became apparent that we were going to have to change the potentiometer, which is what this rotary switch is called in electrical terms. So I'm going to remove the patch cable as well, because we won't need that and it might just get in the way. So we're going to want a socket of some kind of description, and just in case either a ratchet handle or just a normal handle like this. You shouldn't need it because these things generally aren't, grollied on there. They're not usually torqued on there quite tight. And you'll probably see that I can probably do this with my fingers. And as always, righty tighty, lefty loosey, and you want to be keeping that. So the next thing we're going to need to do is, we're finished up the front here, we're going to need to take the back off. As you can see, this is the back of the amplifier. The way we're going to remove the back is that there are 4 captive bolts or screws, fasteners I'd call them. But again, just to remember, make sure this is not plugged in or switched on in any way. There we go. And then this big H plate sort of comes off. Oh god! There's a lot less glass in here than there will be in the Mesa Boogie. So I believe that these are the preamp tubes and that these are the power amp tubes. The information that you want to get from this part is that this bit needs to come out so we can get to the front and take apart the potentiometer. The information I would want to get out of this is simply how do we remove this. And to me, having removed this before, and obviously just with logic, there's 2 bolts there which seem to come from the bottom, and there's 2 bolts there which also seem to come from the bottom. I'm going to place a pad down to protect the amplifier, and then I'm going to put the amp face down. Stop fucking falling, you absolute cunt. As we sort of hypothesised, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts to remove. So we're going to remove them now. For these, I would gradually loosen them in sequence. As we loosen it, this whole section is going to come away. So we have to be aware of that. We don't want it dropping, because if it was to drop, we could damage the tubes. So as I loosen them in sequence, I'm going to begin to loosen the bottom ones a little bit more, because if we do that, it gives us the 2 top ones to hang on to. I've also got a hold of that unit that's coming away, which is the actual amplifier itself coming away from its shell. I'm going to very quickly remove that. I'm going to carefully stand the amplifier back up. So, as a recap, we've removed those 1, 2, 3 and 4 screws. Nothing's broken, we're all good. So I'm now going to take this unit out. There we go. So this whole piece is now just empty and is no longer relevant to us for now. I've placed it on a pad so as not to damage the tubes or anything like that. I'm going to have to rotate this round, but just so you can see it, spin this around. So this is what we're dealing with. This is all the circuit boards, and it is this potentiometer here that is the issue. So it'll be this one we're removing and replacing. And it looks like that one is going to be a good fit in terms of size. I'm hoping that everything else is a good fit, because finding these potentiometers has proven to be an absolute nightmare. But here caused a little bit of damage to the wire. Luckily it's just the insulation that's been melted there, so shouldn't be an issue, but just to be on the safe side, I'm going to put a small bit of insulating tape round it. This is where I'll begin to unsolder things. I'll show you as much as I can, although I don't know how much this is going to catch. There's a little like wire harness here, which looks to be a ground or something, but this is connected on the back of the pot, so this needs to go. Apply heat, let the solder warm up until the wire is free. Keep it away from everything so it doesn't damage anything, because obviously that'll be hot now. There we go. Harness number 1 gone. We'll tuck this under here. Just like that. And now we'll get this out. If it bloody comes, there we go. Then this little harness that looks like it sort of doubles up to hold in place and also is like a grounding thing. Right, so that's almost, yeah. So there we have a very out of focus shot of the broken potentiometer. New potentiometer. Put the washer on, feed it in, and then hopefully we can just work backwards. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is to solder that little support thing back on. So to do that, I'm going to tin, as they call it, tin my soldering iron. It's getting more and more sketchy by the moment. Come on, you. There we go. Ow. So I've had to exchange these back plates because clearly the solder wasn't reacting very well to the new back plate, or the back plate of the new potentiometer. So we'll see if this goes any better. That's a bit loose as well actually, so we'll sort that out whilst we're here. Secondly, make sure the potentiometer is all lined up. Yep, she's on. The next thing is that this small wire, so we'll put it there, reduce the temperature a little bit, make sure, yeah, she's on. And then I believe the second cable goes around to the middle, but let's double check that. And then the opposite happens, whereas now this little black wire goes on there. So it's sketchy as fuck. And if it works, I'll genuinely be surprised. But we've done all the soldering bit. A little piece of shit out. I put the washer and then the bolt. Again, start by finger tightening it. Hopefully it bites, otherwise the thread's not long enough. Which if it was, there's ways round, but it's bitten now. And again, if it came off hand tight, you put it on hand tight. Annoyingly, it's a different sized socket. Either that or I just picked up the wrong one. Okay, there we go. So hand tight, roll the potentiometer all the way back, and then all the way forward, and then all the way back. So we're doing that to test that it has the correct freedom of movement. We're doing that to make sure that it has a full range of movement. You can kind of use another dial for reference. You know, how low does it get when it's off? And the answer for this one is quite bloody low. And then how high does it get when it's all the way? But we want it rolled off just now, just in case. Everything in reverse now. Slide this in as careful as we can. Remembering all the glass works and all that. And then we line it up. Once you've done that, carefully present the bolts at the bottom and begin to hand tighten them up. So if you're having snags with one of the nut plates, just back off a bit, and usually that's enough to realign it properly. Okay. Make sure that this is torqued down quite well. I'm not going to use a torque wrench, but I'm going to twist it until I'm happy. That's what she said. The little H plate, put it on the back. She's in. Last one. There we go. Last screw being a little bit awkward. Again, this is on literally just in case it explodes. Cool. Good luck. Wish me luck. Right. So the mains plug is in. The cabinet plug is in. Going to ensure that my captor is on. Plug in. Socket 1. Alright, so it comes on. No explosions yet. No fires. I'll turn the potentiometer up to full. Turn the loudness 2 all the way down. Turn everything up full. Way too basic. I've kind of been avoiding doing a few songs because they're in a really sort of low tuning, but I've just had the bass, took it to bits, properly conditioned the fretboard and the neck. It's actually quite lovely now. New strings and all that. Whilst it's probably not in tune, might as well do the lower tune stuff. So this stuff will be a lot chonkier than usual. So I'll show you the amplitube setup, and this is what I'm going to be using on amplitube. I just need to tell Pro Tools that I'm on a different input. That's why we're not hearing anything just now. I hope. There it is. Also, I'll be turning the gain down a little bit. That's quite high. And then because we're plugged into the amplitube, we can go onto the tuner and we can tune it from here as well. The new strings are really highlighting the fact that I can't play bass guitar. God damn it! Should really pay attention instead of being a funny. But here we go again. think I'll just play that bit again. Roger. Hear how that sounds. Will we? Yes, we will. The first start bit. What have I done there? Hopefully not deleted anything. First start bit's just all guitar. That's the bass done for a song called Make It, which was never actually meant to be on even as a potential. It's one of the newer songs that I wrote. There's some dark, traumatic things. The day my dad passed away, it was horrific circumstances. Really, it was horrific circumstances. But the song sort of covers that a bit. Kind of like an angry song, really. But yeah, the bass sounded good. We'll save that. We'll also collapse that into itself. Put that there. Save. And then we'll open the next project and see where we're at. I've got a funny feeling I know what it's going to be. There we go. So I'll probably do this one and call it a day there. See how that looks. I've got so much to do. And I get so excited to do it all. But then I lose any motivation to do it. Because, mental health. But today's been a productive day. It's been a good day. This is actually one of the first songs I ever wrote in general. Probably talking early teenagers, latest. And I thought it'd be quite interesting to rewrite it again. Right now, this is only a potential of a song that could go on the album. They're all just potentials. I might cut some. They might all go on the album. Who knows? I might end up writing something I feel, that's better in the meantime, because I'm still writing as I go along, whenever I find the time to. Yeah, this was one of the first songs I wrote, and it's called Lost in This World. Again, that's kind of a working title. I don't actually remember what it was called. Probably had some sort of pretentious teeny pop or emo crap name. Yeah, we'll tune up the bass and we'll go for it. Let's just crack into this one. No click track, which is always smashing. Cool. Yeah, that was the bass for the song that's currently titled Lost in This World. Let's hear how that sounds. Just going to cut off this tail at the end here. Bass sounds really good. Really slappy and punchy. That's going to go so well in the mix. Let's try this now without the click. Cool, yeah, that sounds good. I'm going to save that, annotate my notes, wherever that is. Oops, that's not how you spell done. And then just out of curiosity, I want to see what the next project would be. Again, I've got a funny feeling I know what it is. So that was me recording some bass guitar for another couple of songs that could potentially be on the next album. I'd also shown how to replace a potentiometer and an amp head. Hopefully, well, if you've got a decent ability, you'll be able to transfer that to any sort of potentiometer, whether it's guitar, whether it's a combo, or anything. But hopefully that helped and was enjoyable. And if you did enjoy it, if you did like it, subscribe, like the videos, all that nonsense, share it about. But most importantly, safe landing.